Hello, found footage fans, and welcome to We Found a Tape. Join us as we hit play and uncover what lies beyond the tape. Welcome everyone to another episode of We Found a Tape. Today we're traveling all the way to New York City. And it's not to see the Big Apple, it's to see giant aliens chopping off the heads of the Statue of Liberty. And today we're going to be talking about Cloverfield.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one to talk about.
Hell yeah.
I love you some Cloverfield.
Hell yeah. I was going to say this was a pick by David. I would say it's a classic. It's one of those sort of high budget ones that put found footage back on the map again after a long period of sort of knockoffs all the way up to really Paranormal Activity. This movie came out in 2008 and Paranormal came out 2007. So that was a sort of that renaissance of found footage. Really, this was probably a big budget way of trying to capitalize on the success of Paranormal Activity, because this is a high budget for a found footage film. It was about 30 million, but it was produced by J.J. Abrams and it was directed by Matt Reeves, which Matt Reeves, I don't know if you know this, but he did the Batman movie, the one with Robert Pattinson.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I can see why it was a $30 million budget. J.J. Abrams was attached to it, so.
Hell yeah.
So give me the good stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, J.J. Abrams is known for, Super 8, taking on the bringing back the Star Trek movies, like remaking those. He's had his hand in, Star Wars and things like that. So he deals in big budget movies, I think, as a director for the most part. And yeah, this is a great one. A couple of things right off the bat, really, is not necessarily about the film, but Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams actually have known each other since they were 13 years old.
Oh wow! Okay.
They've been friends for years, and the idea for Cloverfield really came from J.J. Abrams when he was on a trip in Japan with his son, and they were in like a toy store or something. And he was looking at all the Godzilla figures and seeing how many there was. He kind of got inspired by it, and thought like, wow, what if we had like a monster like that in the US, but that wasn't King Kong, right? Because that's what it's associated with. I think when you think of monsters and monster movies, in like Japan, you have Godzilla, and then in the US you have King Kong. So he wanted to bring that sort of essence to the American audience and make a badass cinema verite monster movie.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If there was a Scottish cryptid creature, giant monster like that, representing Scotland, what do you think? What would it be? Would it definitely be the Loch Ness Monster?
It's either going to be the Loch Ness Monster, or it's going to be the Kelpies, or it's going to be the unicorn.
What is the Kelpie?
The Kelpies are like these giant horses, like horse-like creatures that are like sea monsters. And there's a statue of them in Falkirk, I think is where it is. Somewhere in Scotland. There's a big statue of them. And it's like their heads, and then it's supposed to be like they're submerged in underwater, their bodies. So they have like horse heads and it's like poking out. So they're like looking up. So yeah, look it up. Maybe I'll flash a graphic of the Kelpies to show you. But I did visit there, which was pretty cool. So maybe I'll throw that up.
The Kelpies.
Yeah, Kelpies is I think it's just like a myth, type thing. But it's cool. It's cool design.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The monument statues of the heads.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, those are big heads, man. Like I'm looking at the comparison of people to the heads. That's like Statue of Liberty type size status,
Exactly, and that's perfect for Cloverfield because that's one of the most iconic shots, I think, in the whole film.
Right.
Which we see the head of the Statue of Liberty that's been thrown from Liberty Island all the way through to Manhattan.
Right. That was a good spot. But wait. Let's not get too far into this. Let's hit him with the synopsis first, and then we'll get to the juicy shot.
Hell yeah. Cloverfield from 2008. What starts as a going away party quickly turns to a rescue mission against a monster invasion.
Yeah, definitely a monster invasion.
And yeah, I mean, it starts off pretty tame. Although to be fair, I find the party part is one of the more chaotic starts to a film. That's a crazy fucking party. But we start with it's the main character, Rob. It starts with him sort of going in and waking up this girl. And we find out that's who he's interested in. I think her name's Lily, maybe. But it starts sort of with that, and then quickly bursts into like a party where they're organizing a going away party for Rob. Rob's going to Japan, which I mentioned earlier. The real essence or the idea for the film came from Japan, so that was I found it quite ironic. But yeah, it starts with that, and they're sort of going around taking testimonials and making a video for Rob to take away while he goes on his trip to Japan. So he's like moving for work, I think. Is really
right.
He's like a VP of something. So yeah, I kind of really see the intro for like Big Daddy, and like there's also parts of it in Frogman. They go to in Frogman, they end up having like a party for someone leaving, and they're shooting all these testimonials, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, definitely adds to the content of the movie. So I agree.
Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, for a good amount, it sort of stays in that party. There's some random blasts to other things that have been recorded on that camera. The jarring part at the very beginning is the fact that it shows like a sort of like FBI sort of Department of Justice type banner at the front to sort of submit this as evidence, basically, which kind of again grounds it in reality. And then as we're going through, we're sort of learning a bit more about the main character Rob and what he is off doing. And TJ Miller's in this, which I thought was crazy. I forgot he was in this. This is his first film.
This is his first film?
This is his first film, yeah.
Wow.
Because he did stand-up and things like that before, so this was his first film, and he's mostly the camera operator, which is his character name is called HUD, and he is basically going around, and I think it's the brother is tasked initially. His brother Jason is tasked initially with going around and doing all the testimonials, and then the girl who's organizing the party like comes across HUD while he's interviewing people, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing these testimonials." And he's like, "Jason asked me to," and she's like, "I asked Jason to."
Quick side story. So I don't know if I've told you the story yet about how I picked up TJ Miller on an Uber ride. Right?
Yeah. I think you did.
Yeah. So I picked him up downtown. Yeah, I picked him up from a whiskey bar downtown. It was him and his, I guess it was his manager or something like that. Some other guy that was with him. And I didn't look at him. I looked at the guy in the back. The manager got in first. So we're like, hold on, we're waiting for the guy. And it was some weird name. Like it wasn't his real name. It was just some weird name. And then this guy gets in the car and I'm driving. And I didn't look at the other guy. I just started my drive. And they're talking in the back. And the voice sounds so familiar. And all of a sudden it just hits me like I was a huge fan of Silicon Valley, right? Yeah. And he was, one of the main characters in it. He played Erlich Bachman was the character name, and I was like, no way, this is him, right? So I adjust my mirror a little bit just so I can get back there, and I see it, and I see his face, and I'm like, no shit, he's in the back of my car. And so to make it perfect, I'm just listening to their conversation because he's there for a comedy show at night, and we're getting to the part, and a lot of people get into Ubers and they hear like some kind of like calming, peaceful music, or some are bumping rap or country, or some kind of like Tejano music, because here in South Texas it's very Hispanic culture here. And I was blasting some Pantera, right? I was I have to be the oddball, right? Blasting some Pantera, and we're getting to the end of his hotel, and he's all, man, I haven't heard Pantera in a long time. He goes, man, you got some good taste in music. I haven't heard this in a long time. So they're jamming to some Pantera to the hotel room, and he took the time to come to the window and shake my hand and things like that. He's all, thank you very much for the ride, I appreciate it, have a good one, and he was out. And I just didn't have the courage to be like, it was there for me to tell him, like, I'm such a big fan, man. I love Silicon Valley. I think you're awesome, and what you do, you make me laugh, and the words just never came out. Just like a kind of like a starstruck moment. I shook his hand, and he walked away. That was it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely feel like I've had a moment where I've met someone that I'm just like,
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. But I think from that aspect, like, that's such a cool experience, because I mean, he could have been an absolute fucking dick, right? Some people, when they realize that who they are, like, their character and everything can change depending on who they are. Like, that was such a very vulnerable moment. I know it's not super crazy, but like, he's in a a public setting with his manager or whoever,
right.
Downtime probably. He's probably a very busy guy, so I think the sort of pride that you get from helping him out, really, in this case, getting him from A to B, and the compliment and all that, I think it tops it off. Like, I think I know for me, I can definitely put my foot in my mouth and start rambling, especially when I'm nervous to meet someone. I've had that happen a couple of times. But yeah, I think honestly it's like, it almost is perfect that you don't say that you're a fan, because he probably, and it's weird enough to say, but like, some people get it all the time, and it, like, you don't stand out in that case.
And that's part of it, right? Because I'm not the type of person, yes, I can get starstruck when I see somebody, that I've always wanted to meet in person, but I stop myself and I'm like, let's not be that person. So, I'm talking to them like, a person that I meet on the street, even though I know it's, so-and-so person, and just talk to them like a normal person. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are. They're just a person like you and me. They just have a job that puts them in the spotlight.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then the same thing happened with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I picked him up one time in an Uber. The dude was huge. Like, we had to put the car seat all the way back for him, and like, he had to tilt the back of the seat back for him to fit in the car. And that was a very big, he must have been what, like 6'7", 6'8", maybe in that area ish. Really big guy. And I think the dude was afraid of me, like little old me, like, he kept like side-eyeing me, like if I was gonna recognize him and geek out and shit like that. And no, I just just treated him like a normal person, got him from point A to point B, and chunked him the deuce, and that was it.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, awesome. We're rambling and I'm getting off topic. I just wanted to share the side story real quick. But let's go back into the movie.
Oh no, that's great. I think it ties in perfectly, because again, this was his first film, so like, really, potentially without Cloverfield, there could have been no Silicon Valley.
Yes, that's very true.
So there we go. But yeah, he plays HUD. He's running around, taking the testimonials. That's where we run into Lizzie Kaplan, who is the character's Marlena. Lizzie Kaplan is she's another actress. Like, this was very early on for a lot of these people. Also in this movie is Theo Rossi. I don't know if you know who Theo Rossi is, but he's in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, he plays Juice.
He plays Juice, yeah. He stood out right away to me, which I thought was awesome. And then the other guy who plays Mike, his name is Mike. The other guy who plays Rob's brother Jason is a guy called Mike. Mike Vogel, and he is in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake that they did in 2003, I think. So he's in that. So there's a good amount of horror. There's a good amount of comedy. A good amount of sort of Hollywood that's represented here. So
yeah, looks like a couple people got their early start in this movie, so that's pretty cool. Got them off the ground. But yeah, man, this movie, like you mentioned, starts off with the party. Then as the night progresses, things start to happen.
Yeah, because it's crazy because they're all sort of there's some drama. Rob has this thing. He has a crush or like a thing with this girl that comes to his party, and she ends up turning up with a guy. And they had apparently the drama is that they'd slept with each other, relatively recently. And it was like a sort of one-time thing. They'd been friends for so long, and he had always had a crush on her, and it happened. And then like he kind of freaked out, and then he was moving to Japan and all that. And another thing, crazy thing, the guy that she brings to the party is the main guy from As Above, So Below.
Yeah, that is him. I did recognize him. I was like, no shit.
Yep, another horror link there. But yeah, so it starts with the drama of that. The worst thing that they could have done was tell HUD about what's happened, because the first thing he does is like tell everyone at the party. So they're outside, like, having a discussion with each other and like kind of a bit of like a tiff, really. And then HUD pokes out and like goes into the hallway and starts videotaping them and shit. And they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And this is after he's gone around and told absolutely everyone that they slept together. And then she comes back in, and like the whole party is like looking at her, and like just kind of like looking around, and then the news is on, and then they sort of feel like a rumble happen, kind of like an earthquake. And then they're watching the news, and it's saying, "Oh, there was an earthquake on off the coast of New York," and that's where things just start to take a massive turn. And this is really where it fucking goes into just absolute chaos, because from there it starts to then intensify, and then all the lights go out and start flickering and all that, and then they see like an explosion off in the distance. They say it's like a barge that's sort of crashed into the bay or something like that, and then you see all these explosions, and they decide to run up to the roof, which is another bad idea, where they're completely exposed to the elements, and they see the outline of this like creature sort of brushing through the skylines and the towers of New York City. And that's when there starts to be more explosions, and things start flying off into the distance and start sort of flying past the building that they're in. And so they just decide to get the hell out of there, and everyone's just panicking, going crazy. And there's so many people in this party, right? It's not just like a few.
Yeah. It's a big party. There's at least 80, 100 people.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm like, that to me, that's crazy. I don't know that many people to have like a going away party, So, but yeah, it was wild, and that's when they start to run into the streets of New York, and then boom, out of nowhere, the head of the Statue of Liberty comes flying off and crash lands like right in front of them. Which, fun fact, that scene in particular was influenced by the Escape from New York film poster, which it's got the Statue of Liberty's head like on the ground,
right?
And that's where that scene kind of got influenced by. And there, it just turns into this like crazy fucking chaotic adventure that they go on, because they're trying to like after the argument, what's her name? Lily, I think her name is. She ends up leaving the party and goes off, and then that's when all the chaos hits, and then really it's Rob is trying to get to her. It's really his end goal. That's what he wants to do.
Right.
They end up hiding in places like little bodegas and shops and things like that, and All this chaos, everything's blown up, and there's tanks, everything flying past them, and just chaotic. And
That was super chaotic, man, because everything flying like that. Imagine trying to get through all that.
Insane.
I would have definitely gotten tanked for sure.
Oh yeah, I would have been crushed. I would have been crushed to death, 100%.
I haven't ran since 1998, so yeah, I'm definitely getting crushed by a tank.
Yeah.
But taking a look at, just jumping to the monster for a minute, as the movie progresses, they start showing bits more and more and more, and, kind of get to the creature and you can fully see it. It's a very unique creature. I mean, it looks like something out of a Godzilla movie, but it's kind of weird because it almost looks like if it had wings. So, it made you kind of wonder if it was like capable of flying.
Right. Yeah. I thought that too. I think the rumor was that it was actually in like the Godzilla sort of universe, and this was like a kaiju that had landed, or like came out of wherever, and was attacking the city.
Yeah, because if you go to the end of the movie, they show the scene on the Ferris wheel, and you can see in the background. I mean, it's hard to see, but I had to watch it 2 or 3 times, but you can actually see the thing shooting into the water where it's coming down, and of course, it came from the sky, so it's not from here, and just lands in the water, and that's where they cut it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but apparently it's supposed to be like a sort of kaiju-like creature. So the rumor was that it was supposed to be part of this Godzilla universe, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to. Can you imagine like a Godzilla found footage movie? How sick would that be?
That would be phenomenal.
Right.
Just the point of view of somebody just trying to survive, that would be epic.
Yeah.
Just to see all the shots of Godzilla here and there.
Hell yeah.
You would think that the directors that did these movies, they've got enough, footage and B-roll to make that happen just on the side and make a movie out of it, and it would still be good.
Oh yeah. At least I would think so anyway. And this one, I think they filmed a lot of it in secret initially. In fact, they filmed it all in secret, and the cast apparently weren't able to read the script until they'd signed on. So, I think they were probably efficient with what they were filming because they were trying to like keep it under wraps type thing. Yeah. So there may or may not be a lot of B-roll, at least not from the first Cloverfield. But I always felt disappointed that they never did like an out-and-out sequel, like in the same sort of vein. Like I know we have 10 Cloverfield Lane or whatever it is, and then Cloverfield Paradox, but it's not the same. Like those are like Hollywood films, like movies, not like found footage type thing.
It would be nice to see a sequel to what happened after the aftermath. Like what what happened after everything that happened. The taking down of the creature, if it actually did happen. Autopsy of the creature. Figuring out things about it, things like and then I'm sure they could do something out of it. There's something there for sure. And then what if they say it's a baby and here comes the mom falling to earth and we've got another one.
Like in Godzilla, like the one with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, exactly.
And he like goes in the hotel or the office building and there's all these fucking eggs.
That would be sick though, like if like they actually took down the creature, it died, and like the gut split open and all the eggs fell into the sewer and they all came to life and they're living in the sewer and we just get overrun and it's a whole movie right there. We got a sequel. They just need to make it happen.
Yeah, that's very true. I think really just based on, and we'll dive more into it as we get to the ending part, but like I think the way in which they ended it, I couldn't tell if it was supposed to try and make give us like, oh, there's going to be a sequel type thing.
Right.
I think the way in which the film itself ended didn't, but then when you find, like, if you watch the credits, like at the end of the credits, I don't know if you know this, but there's like a message at the end of the credits.
No, I didn't stick around for the end of the credits.
So yeah, at the end of the credits, there's a message, which is another fun fact, is the voice of Matt Reeves, who is the director. There's one message where it's forward, and then the other message is backwards. So you have to like play it in reverse to find out what it says.
Interesting. Did you do it?
I didn't do it, but when I was looking it up, I know what it says. It's like it's still alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the end credits, so it's like in reverse, and it's still alive is what it says, or something along those lines. Yeah.
See, they've got a sequel. I mean, if it's still alive, it's still alive.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, from there is really when after they make it out of the building, they run through, and they make it to the subway tunnels, and that's where they're going through, and they have the idea to follow the subway line.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I was reading when I was looking into this, a lot of people when this came out, they were really pissed off the fact that down below in the subway tunnels, the guy was able to get service. And when I was reading it, actually, like during that period in time, what they were doing, and there was an operation to like basically wire cabling through the subway so that in events of emergency, like there was like a frequency or like some sort of signal that you could connect to call for help or use your phone in terms of emergency, which is exactly what this would be, right?
Right.
So actually, like a lot of people were like, "Oh, this isn't right," when actually it really was. They were making a conscious effort anyway to make it as factual as possible. But yeah,
nicely done.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking about those tunnels, they did come across something in the tunnels.
Oh my god, yeah, that to me was gnarly. So the shot, and it's burned into my brain, man. But there's one particular shot when they're in the tunnels that to me was really probably the scariest part of the whole film for me.
From what I understand, these things are like parasites that were just hanging onto it, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what my understanding of it was. They were like parasites that had like made its way onto whatever the creature was, and when it touched down, there was like a shot where it touched down and all these like little like spider-like fucking alien creatures that looked like something out of Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Forward, they were like yellow or white or whatever, and we see them briefly. You see them very briefly. A lot of this stuff, in terms of the monster, especially as we progress, we do see quite a lot of it, which I didn't remember seeing as much as what I did, but I did. I watched the 4K version, and it's usually a sort of faux pas for found footage to be in 4K because usually it doesn't enhance the quality. But for this particular one, it actually really helped. The quality was fantastic. I thought it was a great 4K experience.
Nice.
So, you actually got to see a lot. It was a lot more defined. Like you could see it clearer. There's obviously a lot of like. It felt to me throughout the whole film. It felt to me like those movies that you would see, or like on like a ride at like Universal Studios. It kind of felt like that.
Very true motion.
Yeah, because of the shakiness of the camera, and
right.
And another part that I think for me is a brownie point really is the fact that even in this like high budget found footage film, what they did was they have a justification for the camera being kept on and used. One, because HUD is like, I am gonna document everything because I need to make sure this gets seen. I need to make sure that people know what happened here. And I was like, I picked up on that. They were on like the bridge or whatever, and that's when they're attacked, and they sort of split up and all that from all their friends, and it really limits it down to a few of them. But yeah, that to me was a brownie point. I always like it in found footage films where they do that, like because that's a justification for someone recording it, right? Um, and then it turns into just being a useful tool. It has the really bright light for them walking through the subway tunnels. It has night vision, which at the point where we just got to with the subway tunnels, for me was the scariest scene, where they switched the night vision and they like it looks behind them and focuses, and it's these creatures, the parasites that are crawling on the ceiling, and they like drop down and like hang by like one leg, and then drop down and start to attack them. And I was like, oh man, when I see when they're crawling on the ceiling, like that freaked me the fuck out. I don't like spiders.
Coming like super fast.
Yeah, and they were fucking gnarly too. Like they end up attacking them. I think they get ambushed and outnumbered. I don't really think they should survive there, to be fair. These creatures are ferocious and probably would have like this weird strength and be able to take them on and fucking kill all of them, I think.
Yeah. We have in Texas these yellow orb weave spiders. I forgot, they're called banana spiders is what people call them here. And they all hang along the fence, and their signatures, they have this zigzag in the center of the web, and they just stay on there with their legs open, and they just wait for something on the fence line, the wind coming through, to push a bug or something. That's how they hunt. I remember going to somebody's house one time, and I was walking, they had trees in the yard, so I was walking between the trees, and I ran into one, and like right in the face, and the spider and everything right in the face. Like I just react, like like you too, I don't like the spiders, right? I grabbed it like off my face like quickly, and I just like squeezed my fist tight. I just threw that motherfucker. But they're not poisonous or anything. They just look like they're deadly spiders because they're super ugly. But they're not poisonous at all.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That would not deter me from freaking the fuck out, probably though.
Yeah. I was still freaking out. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, man. That anything to do with spiders like freaks me the hell out. So yeah, these particular creatures like really were quite scary for me. And then after they fight them and you've killed a few and they like escape into this like break room, which I thought was kind of cool. They like jimmy open the Aquafina machine so they can get the bottles of water out, and
right
there's like half-eaten sub sandwiches and shit.
It's pretty cool that you go through the city like that. You're going into random stores and things like that. It's just a cool concept because there's no law or anything that prevents you from breaking in, because there's this giant creature destroying the city. Law just goes out the window, so you're just trying to survive now. And like you said, go into a break room randomly and just use everything around you. They were able to get the food and get the water out of the machine, stuff like that. So very cool. I enjoyed those parts.
Hell yeah. And then shortly after, we find out that Marlena she's been bit by one of these creatures, and she's been bit a couple of times right in the fucking shoulder. It's pretty gnarly, and they decide to make their move and head out through these. I guess try and figure out where they are to see if they can go back out into the street, and so they're walking with her, and she's just like, I don't feel very well, and she's like looking like awfully pale.
Yeah.
And then when they're walking through, they end up going into like a Dillard's or like a Sears or like some sort of like department store, which I thought was pretty crazy to come right out the subway into a department store. I thought it was it was such a very New York thing. And, so they do that, and that's where they're accosted by all these like army people, and they basically like pull them in, and it's like a shopping mall, and it's been turned into like a triage center for all like the people that have been hit by the explosives because they're trying to kill this thing, people who have been attacked by the creature, just the wounded and the injured, and they have like a triage area for anyone that's in contact. And one thing I noticed when they go past, there's like a guy whose like guts are all like hanging out and he's like blown open, and they're like, we've got another bite, and then they like push past. I'm like, God damn, this guy got bit real hard. But as we sort of find out, and there's more of a confrontation between Rob and like whoever's in charge of this area. They sort of pull them in, and they find out that she's been bitten, and she starts to like bleed from her eyes. She starts to bleed from her eyes, starts to bleed from her mouth, and she's just like, "Oh, I don't feel well, guys." And then they like jump on her and like, we've got another bite. So they like quarantine her basically and throw her into this room, and then we see the silhouette, and then this is the last we see of her. And it's like this explosion of blood. So I'm not sure exactly what's causing that, but it's like the parasitic creatures with their bite has caused them to be, explosive. Yeah. So it's like almost like a corrosive thing.
And it's makes you wonder, since it's not something from our planet, it's some kind of like something in the saliva or some kind of venom that they secrete, through the fangs, that would cause a reaction with the blood or something in the body that would cause the explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but yeah, I don't know what it would be, and that's kind of where they are able to get away from the military sort of operation and move on. They're trying to find Lily, I believe her name is, for Rob. Like he's clearly got a crush on her.
Yeah.
He needs to find her. He needs to save her. He makes a huge point of telling everyone that many times over. And they decide to head to her apartment building. And I mean, she lives on the 39th floor. And they get there, and the entire building has collapsed to the side and is adjacent to another building. So they have the bright idea, because the elevators don't work as well, right? They have the bright idea to go up the flights of stairs, and they got like 57 flights of stairs, which is insane. After running from all these creatures, after running from all these army people and just everything in general, they're now climbing 57 flights of stairs.
These people put in some cardio daily.
Yeah, these people were fit, and then that's where they decide to get to our apartment building. They like basically climb up to the very top, and they like jump over kind of into the building and climb down to try and see if they can find her. And miraculously they do. She's been impaled through her shoulder with like an iron rod, and that's when they pull her out, and they're able to make an escape and try and run away. And I mean, every turn they come against this creature in some way, shape, or form. It's either they're fighting with the army, or it's like right in front of them, sort of walking around, and it's really is sort of pushing us towards the climax. Right.
Yeah, they are coming across this creature in every twist and turn, just because this is such a big creature. I mean, it's covering a lot of ground, so you'd really have to like get outside of the city or the outskirts to really get away from this thing. And you never know, it could be going the same direction that you're walking. So
exactly. And I mean, they get as far away from the city as possible. They end up getting in like a helicopter as well at one point. They're able to be rescued, and there's like a plane crash. Like it gets hit by the creature, and they like crash. They crash land, and they're miraculously again, safe. And they're then, when they land, and we see like HUD is like, he's still like specific with the camera, and I think it's very great in terms of how well he's documenting this. And he looks up, and the creature's like right on top of him, right above him, and he like looks up, and the creature's kind of looking about left to right, and then it looks down, and it sees him, and it gets right up into the camera.
Yeah, that was a nice shot.
That like it's almost like a beak face, and then it's like the way that it breathes, it's like where your ears would be, it's like puffing out to breathe.
Yeah.
And that's where it like attacks him, and that's the last of we see of HUD, and yeah, that was gnarly.
R.I.P. HUD.
R.I.P. HUD, and yeah, from there, Rob takes the camera, and they hear on the radio from the helicopter that they're going to do they're basically going to do an explosion that's going to blow up not only the monster, but also it's going to blow up the surrounding area of New York City. They've cut off all the bridges, and basically, like, whoever's out is out, and whoever's there is going to be collateral damage to try and stop this from going elsewhere. And that's when they're in the tunnel area. They're given their last sort of what's the word? There's sort of testimonial type thing.
Yeah, I guess
like he's like, "Hi, my name is Rob, and like this is what happened here. It took the lives of my brother, my friend." He named everyone, first name, last name, and then and he's like, and so many other people, and this is what's happened. Like, these are the people, and this is a document of it, and it's like, damn, I can't imagine being that sort of hopeless in a moment. Like, you're kind of just bracing for impact type thing. And yeah, that's when they start to blast the bombs away, and then we cut to the credits. Yeah. But yeah, it's such an intense film, and I thought was fantastically done. I think it really put a lot of eyes on found footage again following Paranormal Activity, which was great. And it was just really intense. And the sort of comedic undertone, I think, is really just brought by PJ Miller. Like,
yeah,
I think it's just his deliverance of the way that he says things. Just ends up always coming across as comedic, and it sort of breaks that tension a little bit, but there's still like a seriousness to it, which is throughout. It's just his nervous way of dealing with things. It's just through comedy, obviously. So I thought that was a nice touch.
If you put me behind the camera and I'm just saying nonsense the whole time.
Right? Yeah, you just on. And yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, again, I saw this in 4K. It was a perfect excuse to watch the steelbook that we have, and it was so good. Like, it's been a number of years since I've watched Cloverfield, and it was a great time. It really was. It was really entertaining. Big budget action with found footage was quite cool. It made me want to watch Chronicle, which Chronicle's a good one. Yeah, Chronicle's awesome. Because that's like another high budget, found footage type film, which I think is great. But yeah, Cloverfield, it was good revisiting. Again, see it in 4K if you're able to find a copy of the 4K, check it out, because it's really, really, really good.
I think it's about time. Not to say that we've had any bad, a lot of bad found footage movies, but I feel like it's coming about that time that we should be getting like a big budget for found footage movie to put, found footage back out there again.
Yeah, it's always quite difficult, I think, unless you film it in such a high enough quality,
right?
It really lends itself. Like, I think with Cloverfield, it was filmed in like a sort of HD that at the time was quite cutting edge. I guess when we're moving into that sort of more higher definition, sort of just before Blu-ray type thing, is when we're still in DVD era, and sort of phasing out tapes. So yeah, it was filmed in such a high quality that I think, or maybe just the team that did the restoration in 4K was just really great. I think there's a 4K Blair Witch, like, that was through Second Sight, which is another special edition, and I I don't know how I would feel with watching Blair Witch on 4K. I think I've said it before. Like my favorite way of watching it is on a VHS on a small-ish screen.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like extra crispy, and in that sort of 4:3 aspect ratio type thing.
Yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
get you. Some things just belong better on the old tube.
Right, exactly. And I mean, with Blair Witch is a perfect example because they didn't film that for future specs. They filmed it on the
Right.
technology they had at the time, and really expected just to come out on VHS and people would just see it, not expecting like a big cinema run and a big success of it. But yeah, Cloverfield was great for that. I think another good one would probably be like Paranormal Activity, might be a good 4K one, maybe.
That would be spectacular.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Or As Above, So Below, I think would be a good one.
That would be so nice.
That would be
And they
cool.
have a Blu-ray copy out of it now, but I just don't know if it's a 4K edition.
Yeah, I don't think it's 4K, but that would be sick. That would be sick. Another one I'd love to see in a sort of high definition, like special edition or Blu-ray, would be Phoenix Forgotten, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool, especially with some of the newer stuff that's in it. Like an upscaled version would be pretty sick.
definitely.
But
yeah, so that is Cloverfield. I think we already got to the point where it's time to rate this sucker.
oh yeah. Yeah, I can take it first. I had a lot of fun going back into this. It had been some time, many years since I'd seen this, and I think there was certain points that I remembered, certain points I didn't. So it was good to refamiliarize myself. I thought it was a lot of fun, really entertaining. The serious nature of it was balanced well with that comedy. Again, the justification of using the camera, I think I always love that. So if you can take and for this, it was like 2 seconds. If you can take 2 seconds to say, I am filming this because of this, perfect. Because then the rest of your film, you're like, okay, this guy is really committed to it. So kudos for that. I like that. The creature design was crazy good. Obviously a lot of CGI in this. It was big budget,
Yeah.
disaster type movie. So there was a lot going on for it there. Yeah, it was really good. I think. I don't really know that there's that much I would change. To be fair, I think I was satisfied with how it went, and it's such a high quality found footage, and Matt Reeves. I realize I'm such a big fan of Matt Reeves for the fact that he did The Batman. The Batman was one of my favorite movies of the year that it came out. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago. And I absolutely loved that. So
You enjoyed the one with Robert Pattinson?
yeah, I thought it was so good. I thought it was one of the best Batmans we'd seen for a number of years.
And so many people were pissed when they heard that he was going to be a Batman. They couldn't see beyond the Twilight movies, what he could do with it. And he did a bang up job, man.
And I'm a fan of Robert Pattinson. Even though like that, and I'll say it, like the first Twilight for me, so good, fantastic. The mood and the feeling in that first Twilight is incredible. And then the rest of them just sort of fell off of that, and it never could really capture it for me anyway. Could never really capture that first one. But I've saw Robert Pattinson in so many other movies that are not Twilight, and I've absolutely loved it. So one of my favorites is a movie called Good Time, and that's a great Robert Pattinson movie. It's made by the guys who did Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, the Safdie brothers. So yeah, for me it was perfect, the Batman. But yeah, Matt Reeves, he did this. This was his, like, I think it was the first movie or second movie that he directed. It may even have been his directorial debut, but anyway, the story from it I think was good. It was such a great way to ground it in reality. the chaos of it, like it was just insane. It was insanely well built, and story was good. Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to give it four tapes.
Solid.
Yeah, it was
So I enjoyed the ride. I mean, it was nonstop, action, chaos, craziness, scary parts in the sub tunnels. I'm a sucker for a creature movie. I mean, that's no secret at this point. Anything with creatures or monsters or anything like that, I'm completely in. And they really did the creature so well. Definitely something not of this planet. Obviously, it came from the sky originally. So all the actors did so well. I really enjoyed TJ Miller's, commentary from behind the camera, being himself, the way that he is. Everything about this movie was great. So for me, it's a solid 5 tapes.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it was so well done, and it was part of that renaissance of found footage again. I think for me, maybe to some it may have been its detriment, because I mean after that, we had Blair Witch, and then we had like a lot of rip-offs after that, and then we had Paranormal Activity, and then we had a lot of rip-offs after that. But I think during that time there was a lot of creativity and a lot of high-end found footage, and Chronicles in there, Cloverfield's in there, Paranormal Activity is in there, and there's just it's such a great one to revisit and check out. The creature design is so good. The rest of them, there is like a universe that they've made for it. 10 Cloverfield Lane and whatever. Like, I don't even really rate it. It to me is not the same, but this was just so good, so good.
Yeah, and I've seen 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's good, but it's an actual film, and it's not found footage material at all. And then the Cloverfield Paradox. I did try to watch it a couple of times because it came out after one Super Bowl or something like that. Like as soon as the Super Bowl was over, it was out on, I think, Netflix. Yeah, I think it was Netflix. And I did try to watch it that day. Maybe I got through it, but it's one of those things that it just couldn't catch my attention. And anything that has to do with space or anything like that, I'm fully engaged. But maybe at the time I just was disinterested. I had other things going on. But it's something I'd like to revisit because it does have like some origin story and what they were doing up there in this space station, stuff like that. So it's definitely a piece of the puzzle. But ultimately, I'd like to see a sequel.
Yeah,
I'd like to see what happens after.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see it. Even again, like if it's even if it's just a bunch of B-roll that they had, and it's just like other shit that just happened around the same area, they could probably build a narrative around that. But yeah, I would love to see a sequel as well. Even if it's like 25 years later, or like 20 years later, 15 years later, like the impact of it, and then like something triggers like another attack. Like that'd be mad. So that'd be cool. But who knows?
Some Independence Day shit.
Hell yeah. But yeah, if you like creature features, if you like found footage, then Cloverfield's for you. I watched it on Blu-ray, like I said. I'm not sure where it's streaming, but I mean, I'll probably do some research after, and this is the places where the movie will be streaming. If there's none, then SOL. But yeah, this was awesome. Let us know if you liked Cloverfield. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, be sure to follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts, and that is Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, everywhere. And it's all We Found a Tape.
We Found a Tape, yeah. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Watch the skies, and don't forget, be kind and rewind.